Let's go ahead and run a short little video on how to do a load calc using the load analyzer. The load analyzer is actually a block load, not intended to be an engineering document. This is a guide that will help you to be able to determine what it is you need to put into the home. It does a block load. It's not a room by room load calculation, and it is based on Active Manual J. When you enter in the customer's name or their address, you can certainly search, and then what it will happen is when you pull in the address, it will pull in the age of the home, it'll pull in the square feet of the home and the number of bedrooms. Your job is to just get a little bit more information. Now, the linear length around the house is the total running length around the house. And if you don't want to measure it, you can certainly take and get a calculator and take the square footage of this, the square root of the square footage, and then multiply that times 4. So in this case, it'd be like 121 would be the total number. So the square root of the square footage and then times 4. The height of the ceilings is going to tell us what our gross wall area is because it'll be the linear length around the house times the height of the ceiling. If you had a situation where you had a two-story home and we were doing a load for the top floor, then the floor load is going to be 0. So if you had a two-story home we're doing the bottom floor, then the ceiling load will be 0. Duct loss and gain is a sort of a subjective number, and so is this air changes right here. This, if it's RNC, residential new construction will be 0.3, AOR will be 0.5. So the next area we're going to have to do is just come in and say, we're going to say we have single or double glass. In this house, this is an older home. It does have blinds. It is clear. I measured the windows. We have 30 on the north. We have 130 on the east and west, and we have 30 on the south. And I click next step. So the next step brings us to our heating glass, and in the heating glass, we basically really don't have to make any changes because it's a total of what's on the previous page. And you'll see here what's happening is as we're entering information, our total heating loss and gain is building. So we click next step, and here we are. We need to go back one, and we need to add in our doors. So in this case, I know we have two 7x3, 3x7 doors. They're 21, so there's 2 of them. So it's 21 times 2 is 42. And then you're going to see what's going to happen is our net wall area will appear. This house has R30 insulation. It has a light roof. And again, it's a crawl space. So when you change it from a crawl space to a slab, it uses the perimeter for the edge insulation. If you use the crawl space, it uses the total square footage. And then you're going to put carpeted or hardwood floor with insulation or not. So if you had a house that we were doing the second floor and not the first floor, and we knew we didn't have a floor load, you would just change this to 0, and that would change that. So I'm going to change it back to 922. Same thing with if we were doing a house that had a no ceiling load, so ceiling under an attic would be 0. We click next step, and it gives us our total tonnage. And I can tell you this house, one of the first houses I've ever owned, and it has about a 2.5 ton system in it. Works perfectly. So now at this point, I'm done. I click generate PDF, and it will generate a PDF of the document for this particular company. And then you'll see down at the bottom of the 5-page proposal, it will actually have the summary of the load calc. You can turn this into your municipalities or whatever it is you do with it. Put it in the file. I certainly would not give it to the customer, but I will tell you that when you click to generate PDF, it actually saved a copy of the PDF to the customer's record. So if we go to that customer, under customer, and we look for this person, a PDF of that particular document will be on their file. So from this point, you can export to the wizard and build a proposal based on those capacities, and you just want to title it and then click get started. I like to go a little bit above nominal so we can pull in the next size up. Let's say we have 16 hours of labor. We go next step. I'm then going to choose my quality categories. So we'll go infinity, inverter, infinity, converter, performance, 2-stage, and then comfort, single stage, and then next step. So now that we've got that done, the wizard brings up the outer unit that will work, and then it will bring in the possible indoor units that will work with it. And when you get the indoor unit, it actually will pop down the AHRI number that will work for that particular system. I'm going to go and check my second unit. And again, here's my air handler that will work. In the case you were doing an air conditioner and coil, it would pop down the coil and then the furnace. And then here's our next model down. Actually, I missed one. And then we'll go with that air handler. And then the very last one. Okay, so I don't have an indoor unit available. Let's see if one will work with this one. And so when it says there's not one available, it really is just saying that what we chose and then the criteria that we're looking up, it won't allow it to fit inside of this criteria. Once we're done, we click next step, and it's going to pull up basically items that we can add to the job that are maybe kits or thermostats, line sets. So we go line set. Maybe we need a condensate pump. All of these will be added to the special parts area. So once we've done with that, we can click edit proposal. But if we like this job and we do it a lot, we actually can create a template for it. So 2.5 ton heat pump, Gibson 2-21. So I have the date for when I did the proposal, and I click edit. So now in short 7 minutes, I've done a block load for the home. I've done a load estimate for the to feed to the wizard, and then I've done our proposal for the customer. And then once it saves, it should pull up the customer, and then we'll have a proposal to show them. Okay, so once it saves, here we are at the proposal level. I can come in, let's just make sure our AHRI numbers are pulling through. We click load AHRI, and they'll all pull through. We click the ones we want. Sometimes there's more than one. Because they use asterisk and codes, we have to make sure that we get the right one. So let's pull in this one right here, and then I'm going to hide that, and then again click save. And then up at the top you'll notice that there's always a hard copy. We save a copy of every time we save it, and we'll click on that, and that's the fastest way to print. Pulls in all of the images, descriptions, the brochures. The customer can click the brochure. It has the payment on there, the terms and conditions, and when the customer's ready to buy, all they have to do is just click right here, sign it, and then leave their signature, and then click I accept the terms, and now the process is complete.